Jan Theelen had it hard. He had to combine three things: a full-time job as a craftsman, keep a cafe and banquet hall open, and run a pigeon colony. When he talks about the cafe and the hall, he usually talks about the business. Jan still pronounces it with some pride. As long as Jan still worked during the day in the weaving factory, Truus, his wife, had to keep the business open. The pigeons were cared for in the morning and in the evening. Although, in the morning, Jan was never an early bird since it often got late in the bar. There was not much time left before noon to take care of pigeons. Thus the pigeons had to adapt to a Spartan regime in the Theelen household. The career of Jan Theelen, say 50 years champion with pigeons, can be divided into three major periods, with the arrival of the trudge in 1971, the total sale in 1990, and the 50 years of high-level pigeon sport interspersed with countless highlights, with one big constant: the breeding of absolute top pigeons. They are world-famous: the Lynx, the 508, the Vale Marathon, the Red and Black Ladies, the Wonderful 10, the Lisbeth. Add to this the fact that Jan, like most true champions, has a nose for good pigeons, and always managed to bring in the right pigeon at the right time without endangering his self-grown strain.
The Jan Jacobs contribution. One of Jan Thielen's first masterstrokes was the purchase in 1958 of the Lichtcross NL 219004-54 from Jan Jacobs in Sevenham. This Lichtcross Jacobs was already 4 years old at the time, but Theelen had taken a good look. This and no other would become the only and real ancestor of the very old Theelen tribe. Together with a Belgian hen, de Lichtcross immediately bred two champions for Jan: the Klein Blauw 449633-58 and his nest brother the Klein Geschelpt 449634-58. This Klein Geschelpt was coupled to a Witoog hen from Jan Poels from Halen and the Klein Blauw to the Donkier Witpen Witstart from Watts from Swalman. Jan, who was not averse to a bit of inbreeding, coupled the children from this, nephew and niece, back to each other, and his first breeding couple was born. It was the Geschelpt 283344-59, out of the aforementioned Witoog by Klein Geschelpt, and the Vwil Blauw Witpen, out of the Klein Blauw with the whitetail. They are the parents of the first famous pigeon that saw the light in Buckingham, the famous Lynx 1365903-63. In order to broaden his base, Jan Theelen coupled the Lichtcross Jacobs to other hens that he liked. As late as 1958 he coupled the Lichtcross with a pure Hermans hen he had through a certain ramakers from Haythuisen, Ludel. That was long before Theelen himself found his way to Joe's Hermans. This successful pairing produced, among others, the Rode Whittager alias de Toegenade van 58. From this Toegenade, a top pigeon was born in 1959, namely the Rode Campion 46, in full 283346-59. In 1959 Jan Theelen paired the Lichtcross Jacobs to a hen from Kirstjens from Belfeld. It was another hit, because the St. Vincent hen rolls emanated out of this pairing. The latter, NL 283242-59, won 68th against 2,125 birds in St. Vincent 1960 as a yearling and then became a noted breeder himself.
The Lynx Line. The Lynx 1365903-63 was inbred to the old light pencil Jacobs. As a yearling he won first Limoges, and Jan Theelen, true to the motto breed first, then play, immediately stopped him for breeding. The board was well noted, because the Lynx has become a top breeder. With a Shaley Witpen 373127-69, granddaughter of the Rode Campion 283346-59, son of the aforementioned Toegenade, he produces the Sun Lynx 1414293-71. This inbred lad also performed and wins 13th National Dax and 36, 80, 151 National Barcelona. It is clear that Jan Theelen was on a gold vein in Buckingham, because all those descendants of the Jacobs cockbred so easily. Jan mated his son of Lynx with a Van Wanrooy pigeon 1505232-71 from the line of the Sluttering via Brookers Sittard. This couple produces a new top pigeon, the famous 700, ring NL 1734700-77. The 700 was a pigeon close to Jan Thielen's heart, as he could fly for 2 days. He proved that by winning 23rd and 377th National from Barcelona. He would also become a capital breeder as the sire of the Vale Marathon NL263102-82 and the Zwart Lady 1860811-79, among others. It is important to note that for Jan Theelen as a master breeder, he had a strong crossing line in addition to all the vigor of the now massively present Red Hermans pigeons. When you think of Theelen pigeons, you inevitably think of red and mealy pigeons, even though Jan had many famous other colored pigeons in his career. Almost everyone also knows that Jan Theelen mainly attained his red pigeons from one Jos Hermans. Also, at Hermans, it was all red and mealy that proved to be superior performers. He mainly got his red from Wedge and De Hert and later from Dr. Bricot, who also owned a predominantly red colony of super pigeons. Theelen is in good company with his legion of red pigeons.
Jos Hermans Jr. inherited the colony of Jos Hermans Sr. and lived in Mariaberg. It was with Jos Hermans Jr. that Jan Theelen got the core of his loft stock, including the red and mealy pigeons during the 60s and 70s. What better way to illuminate the noble origins of the Theelen pigeons than by telling the story of the build-up of the pigeon stock of its most important suppliers, Jos and Jos Hermans. We can tell here the facts about the Hermans strain that have not been published due to a previously unpublished document by the late Herman Schuttelaar, a pigeon sport chronicler and family friend of Jos Hermans Jr. and, an important detail, of Jan Theelen. The fanciers who succeeded with the Hermans pigeons and sometimes bred complete champion colonies from them cannot be counted. It is Herman Schuttelaar who shows him the way to the Herman Jr. loft, the first time in 1963 and then again in 1971. Jan Theelen was in good company, because greats such as Stassart, Tournier Sr., Fabry, Sion, Stock, the Humans brothers, Van Wanrooy, K.O. Nippius, Van Gulk, Peppermans, Docker, Tanghe and so many others had preceded him to bring the blood of those much sought-after Red Hermans pigeons into their home. They would also leave a lasting mark on the colony, and not only because of the red color. Old Red Hermans. The first pigeon that Jan Theelen got from Jos Hermans was a red one. How could it be different? It was a cock, BE6303906-63, Oud Road, which had the ZB44, Sun Boot, 4 times in his pedigree. He descended from the Bincho 6241816-47 on both his father's and mother's side. This blue crack pigeon was called Bincho because he was bought as a youngster in Binche. Bincho was also the nickname of Omer Taverne, one of the better Belgian racers in the 1930s. De Bloor Bincho won for Jos Hermans, among other things, a first Angoline with 35,000 birds in that race. We can safely say that the 3 main pigeons that Theelen attained in Mariaberg carried that Bincho blood to a large extent. Or is it from the Schult who appears 3 times in the pedigree of the Oud Road? This Schult, a son of the ZB44, won the first National Bordeaux for Jos Hermans. It is important to note that the Oud Road Hermans had all good bloodlines firmly anchored in the genes through inbreeding. The most important son that Jan Theelen bred from his Oud Road Hermans was undoubtedly the champion pigeon, Goad Road 834, ring number 851834-67.
Old Dark Hermans. The pigeon sales were going well at Jos Hermans, recalls Jan Theelen, and you noticed that too. Jos Hermans was extremely friendly and helpful, but there was no question of choosing or anything. He decided what to take with you, and there was no arguing about the price. I was quite impressed, and at the same time happy that I could return home with a red youngster and a couple of eggs. During his visit to Hermans, Jan Theelen also obtained a precious egg that was carefully presented and from which the Donker Hermans was born, rung by Theelen with a Dutch ring NL6321365990. Because everything at Jos Hermans was one big family, diligently inbred to a few top pigeons, the Oud Donker was also quite closely related to the Oud Road. They were both inbred to the ZB44, the Vos Wild from 52, and the inevitable Bincho. De Oud Donker, however, had exchanged 25% foreign blood in his character through a pigeon with the Walloon champion Guillaume Peters Beaufort from Biomont. Jan Thielen mated the donker to his own licht St. Vincent hen, who had flown no less than 12 long-distance prizes. From this master coupling came the Good 016. The Good 16 confirmed as an old pigeon and then became a more than important pawn in the breeding program. His most important son was the Little Blue. This Klein Blau with ring 1414298 to 71-111 prizes in the extreme long distance and in turn became a top breeder. He gave several champions who flew 8 to 10 prizes on the overnight. But we mainly remember him as grandfather of the world-famous Lisbeth.
De Goede Rood, the Good Red. De Goede Rood won 10 prizes in the extreme long distance and was co-winner of the first Series 3 in the National St. Vincent 1974. With the results of this Goede Rood and of the above-mentioned Goede 16, it was more than clear that Jan Thielen, with the contribution of the Hermans Pigeons, was now definitely on the overnight horse. Entering 2 Hermans Pigeons and, coupled with his own species, proves a recipe for success. Numerous champions sprang from that line of the Goede Rood 834. For example, he became the father of the 20 breeding pigeon that we will encounter in the Cyprus chapter. But also the 10, the Gaal winner, the Gouden Quecker and the Black Madonna of Lalu van Doren, the Cyprus 52 etc. carry his bloodline. The Goede Quecker 348. Jan in turn paired the Rood with the best from the old core, namely a daughter of the Rood Campion 46 with the Lichtgras poles. This hen already contained some Hermans blood via ramacres. This pairing produced a super pigeon, the Goede Rood 834, in full 851-834 to 67. Jan Thielen did what he had to do, he brought his 2 Hermans lines back together. He mated the Goede Rood to a daughter of the Goede 16, then coupled to the 1105591 to 68 in HVR via Dr. Linsen, and with that he made the move of his life, because this resulted in an absolute top breeder, the Goede Quecker 348.
The famous 08. The very first youngster from Trudge X Goede Quecker 348 was the famous 08 with the ring 580,508 to 72. The 08 was born a super. He immediately understood what was expected of him, and had already won 11 prizes as a yearling, including First Orleans. In 1974 he started again with 6 top prizes, but then came home injured. A miracle that he still came home, because otherwise the pigeon history would have looked completely different. Jan did not hesitate and put him straight in the breeding loft. The very best I ever had, muses Jan Thielen, if I ever wanted to have one pigeon back, it would be him. It's not only Jan Thielen who would succeed with the descendants of the 08, the car winner at Van de Eind Bernhards, the Road 50 Vertelman, the Gouden Quecker Brinkman, the ancestor WL Kramers, the Vale Marathon, etc., are all descendants and all carry his genes. The famous 08 was coupled to various hens, such as the Voile hen 1414252 to 71 from the Broer van de Lynx, the Van den Bosch Duiven, a direct from Berlar with ring B6433755 to 68, mother of the first provincial Dax, a direct mattern from the line of his national and international winners, the 373253 to 69 and finally the so-called Van der Wien Duiven. The best of these partners was undoubtedly the latter, Van der Wien Duiven, NL 877244 to 78, a Van der Wiegen by WL Usen via Strijbosch from Venray. With this the 08 gave the famous marathon hen the 60. She would win the national marathon in 1984 with her son Vale Marathon. Another 08, namely the 708 or 1860708 to 79, was a direct son of the famous 08 and also flew like a champion. He won 13 prizes in 1981 with 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 9th and did this again in 1982. 10 prizes to Bergerac with 1st, 2nd, 7th, etc. 3 other sons of the 08, better known as the Three Musketeers 1472143 to 75, 9345585 to 78 and 235047 to 81 each win a series of prizes, each with a first place on the overnight in the salmon spell. And that is of course only a small selection of the prizes of the direct descendants of the 08. At least 20 top pigeons also came from the 08. In the wake of the 08 we meet world-class champions such as the El Toro of Kalenbroers, the Road 50 Vertelman, the Vale Bordeaux of Piet de Vogel, the 2 National Bergerac from the Kuipers brothers, the 1st National Bergerac van Benny Homa, the 1 National Lord by Joe Funken, 10 National Barcelona from Cies van de Poel, and even Samari and Samara from the Brugman brothers, 10th and 18th National Barcelona.
Roger van Gulk. Roger van Gulk hailed from Calais. He also had a colony of Herman pigeons which he was noted for as one of the principal long-distance flyers in the province of Antwerp. Jan Theelen knew about these Herman's pigeons through Schuttelaar and visited Calais in 1964 to get even more Herman's blood into his lofts. The most important acquisition here was the guarantee hen, because Van Gulk sold the pigeon with a guarantee, not a good one. Then a full refund. That's how sure you could be of the breeding of those Herman's pigeons.